Welcome to the Simply Incredible podcast. I am your host tonight, T. Rizzle Troy Champney, and I'm joined by my good friends. Number one, straight across the street, the incredible D. Daryl Wood.
It's me, it's the D.
It's the D. And on my left, back after his long hiatus.
Special guest?
Of a single week. No, is it 2 weeks? 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Back again. JPZ Josh Presnell.
I'm back, mother.
Oh.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Back again.
PZ's back. He didn't
Tell
bring
over.
any friends.
We are his friends. Can't bring.
That's true. Yes.
We live here.
Yes. We came because he said he was coming. Anyway.
Hey, this week we finally get to tackle conspiracy theories.
Conspiracies. And ironically enough, what day is it?
Today is the anniversary of the quote-unquote landing on the moon.
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote.
What a great day to celebrate conspiracy
Yes.
theories.
Yeah, I think all these conspiracies lined up for this day.
You know what was funny is that so many times I had no idea growing up that there was a conspiracy theory based on this.
Yep.
Until probably when I started watching the History Channel,
Right.
which is where I take all of my footnotes for with anything.
Exactly right. So we're talking about comics. I think they mentioned that on the History Channel.
Yep. Or on Netflix if it has 1 star.
Yes. Yes. That's right.
Alien Agenda.
Right.
Bigfoot Encounters.
Squatch hunting.
I see
That's
1
not on
star.
there yet, though, but it should be.
I see 1 star and I'm like, winner!
This is going to be gold.
Let's go, Jerry. Gold.
Excellent. Hey, do we want to start with conspiracy theories or do we have other things?
We got a couple other little things.
What are we going with?
Well, apparently I was yet again incorrect.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah,
Say it.
shocking as it may seem. Brock Lesnar, the beast incarnate, maybe was not quite the beast I had thought he was.
I knew it the whole time.
I'm still not convinced. I don't know.
I mean,
Oh.
I'm hoping that it's something, but I mean, other than he's juicing and stuff, but I don't know. I hope.
If the dude's going to come back to the UFC after this much time off, he knows he's going to get tested. Why in the world would he do stuff like that? Does he think he can beat the system?
I think a lot of the guys who do get popped and it turns out that they were trying to beat the system, it's really a case of somebody, making them believe, don't worry, we got this, man. We got some of the top-rated people in the world. They're not going to pop you. They make it out like they're really diesel, but the guys that have gotten caught, they were stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We've got doctors and scientists and a system, and they buy it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
And
For
they
the record,
become...
I think Brock Lesnar is an absolute genius. I think he's one of the smartest, most articulate human beings ever, and Brock's a good person. So, Brock, I got your back. These guys are beating you up. So, go after them.
No,
Thank you, Mr. Beast Incarnate.
don't give him my name.
I'm still innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
You think that?
I think so,
I
yeah.
hope. But now, what do you think about Mark Hunt?
What do-
Saying either give me half of his purse
Or let me go.
Or let me go.
I think he's exactly right.
I think he's right. But I think UFC would be like, look, we'd rather have Brock than you.
Doesn't matter.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It doesn't matter because if you don't take and have a standard, especially since it's on the stage because of John Jones and
Yep.
because it's Brock Lesnar,
Uh-huh.
you've got this thing right in front and center of the entire world. And what message do you send out if you say, hey, if you cheat and win, we'll still reward you with millions of dollars and give you a 6-month or 2-year suspension?
Yep.
Well, who cares? He hadn't fought in 2 years anyway. To him, that's a hunting trip.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And he's like, wow, man, I can do the same thing again. Be assured $15 million again.
Yep.
I'll have $30 million. I'll never have to work another day in my life.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he probably
Well,
already does.
now
Well, I mean,
everybody's trying to-
he's already got another pay-per-view lined up.
Pay-per-view what?
WWE.
Oh,
Yes,
I was
yes.
I thought you meant
SummerSlam's
UFC.
coming up.
They
so,
don't care. They buy the stuff for him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, and
now I will say this.
But
though,
Mark Hunt-
WWE does have a very strenuous policy.
Really.
They just got put the guy that was supposed to be lined up for the next big title run. They just suspended him for drugs.
what's his name?
Which one?
The one that got suspended your
Roman
time.
Reigns.
Yes,
Ah.
yes. Is that what it was? Because I saw all this
Yeah, and
noise.
he said, you know what? I did something I shouldn't have done, and I won't do it again. He's like the Rocks. They're related somehow. I'm not exactly sure how close.
but he got busted for steroids.
I want to say it was juice. Yeah.
You're saying that all of those bodybuilding physiques that come out of there are
You don't
clean?
see the guys like you used to see.
Oh, really? See, I don't
Yeah.
watch it.
Most of these guys look like fairly normal guys that lift a lot now.
Not
They
like
don't-
the
they don't-
Ultimate
I mean,
Warrior.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you still got John Cena who just looks like a monster, but he's in the gym every single day.
Yeah, him and The Rock.
And The
yeah.
Rock, The Rock might be doing something. I don't know.
Oh, I wouldn't put it past him. He's not He's performing. He's not, competing.
Right.
Yeah. But like most of these guys look fairly normal. You see a lot of guys now they're doing CrossFit. They've got like that CrossFit body.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So you see a lot of those guys in there, and that's very athletic now. Instead of more, let me be like Hulk Hogan, the 24-inch Python guys.
All right.
Cool.
So,
But I feel bad for Mark Hunt. So much of that fight, you can say that the steroids made a difference, but the strategy to close the gap, take him down, and get on top, he could have been successful with that, with or without the steroids. A clean Brock would have had the same kind of skill sets because
But he did look like he just bulldozed through him there one time. He shot a double leg takedown from halfway across the cage.
yeah, he did.
Just
what was that early in the fight?
I don't want to say round 2, maybe.
2, yeah. But didn't you think he looked?
I didn't realize he took him down at all in round 2. I thought they just kind of stood
No,
there.
no,
It
no,
was
he did
almost
this-
like a rest round.
Same thing we were talking
Because
about.
I know round 3. I mean, that's the only round I say maybe. Because if you get that stuff, or you get that extra energy to last you through that last round,
Yeah.
I can see someone going, there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
With all this controversy, everybody's looking for a paycheck now. OSP, he's like, I fought John Jones back then. He was probably juicing back then. Do I get a cut?
Yeah.
Not even a little bit, because it's like if it's not provable, it doesn't
Yep.
matter if there's a good opinion on it.
Nah.
But the whole thing with Brock and Chad Mendez, who just got busted, and John Jones,
Chad Mendez, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
yeah, he just got busted. 2-year suspension.
Wow.
And you got to look. To me, it's not always true, but where there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, look at Brock, look at Chad. Now, you can't say that about John Jones, but you remember those pictures that he was all over Instagram with, where he was just diesel powerlifting. And people say, well, he didn't have to be clean during that time. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
If it showed up
Yep.
when it wasn't supposed to show up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's your own
anyhow.
fault.
Yep, a lot of stuff going on. Big fights coming up with 201, 202, 203 all being stat cards.
There's not much going on in 201, but 202, 203, yes.
Now, what?
Robbie Lawler and
Yeah, that's
Woodley's
right.
in, and then to me, that's all it's on 201.
So they're not stacked cards; they are unstacked
One
cards.
is 201 is unstacked. The other two, I think, look pretty good.
Dude. All right, cool. UFC, keep your eye on that. A lot of news developing. What else you got, guys? You got something from Marvel, you said, right?
Yeah. Yes, Marvel,
a
yes.
little news out of Marvel. It's kind of depressing. They're kind of, how they made their little power play. They stopped putting out Fantastic Four books to kind of try to push Sony to quit making the movie. So they
Okay,
can
you're
revert
getting
the
me excited.
rights. They are discontinuing all X-Men books this fall.
What?
For the same reason.
Yeah,
Wow.
that hurts my soul because X-Men's my comic book. Man.
That hurts me because I mean
Yeah.
I just can't believe that they would just say, you know what, we're getting rid of X-Men. Like,
Yeah.
Don't
dude.
mess with the mouse. Disney's got the money and the
Yeah.
power to say, no, we'll stop.
Yep. So yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna discontinue all the books. Hopefully, it'll dry up Sony's interest in the movies, and they'll get them back on the team. So it could be a good thing. If X-Men comes home to Marvel, I'll be ecstatic for that. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, I got no X-Men comics, and that kind of sucks.
Well, here's
Yeah.
what I say about that. I don't see that having any effect on the studio's decision. Now,
If there's
fantastic.
no interest in the movies, are they gonna make any money?
Yeah, but to take the X-Men are already an established powerhouse.
That's
Yeah.
what they were saying. Like
Yeah.
in the '90s, X-Men was Marvel. They were the franchise for Marvel.
Dude,
Yeah.
I would argue that and the Avengers, have. It's funny too because Fantastic Four, it was like this trifecta type thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then you'd have Marvel Knights and the street kind of things like Spidey, Daredevil. That
Uh-huh.
I can't stand that they have ruined Fantastic Four, but I have
Yeah.
heard that Marvel has made real strides in getting a partnership creatively to start being really looked at after the Spider-Man success.
Yeah, I hope they piggyback off that and more.
From
teams
what
get
I've
on.
heard, there's a real possibility that the dialogue is open.
That would be awesome.
which kills me about this news.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought that's what the path of success was.
Maybe so, yeah, because a couple different sources, they looked into all the books that are coming up, and there's not a single X-Men title coming out
When does this go into effect? Like,
this fall.
oh my god!
And you know, if you're up to date on the X-Men comics, you can kind of see that they're leading up to it, because it's X-Men versus something else, and the X-Men are struggling.
that just blows. I
Okay.
tell you what, I hope it works. I hope they bring him back.
I hope they find something because I mean, no X-Men, no Fantastic Four. That's
I mean, I got decades of back issues I could collect, but they're getting expensive.
yeah,
Dude, yeah. But wouldn't it? Do you think the payoff would be worth it if you had to go, say, 1, 2, or 3 years without X-Men books, but then eventually X-Men, Fantastic Four all come back to Marvel, they start the books up, and they take it off like they've never done? Would it be worth it to you?
I would say yeah, because I went so many years without even reading a comic.
Yeah,
It's
me
like
too.
I'm just now back into them, and
Yeah.
they just happen to just be doing it now.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
I mean, if they did this in 2003, I would have never been the wiser.
And you wouldn't have cared. You'd have been like, oh, they're back, though.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think without going without them for say 3 years, you think you would immediately go, okay, I'm back into it now?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know if they got rid of Batman for 3 years. I mean, I might drop completely out of comics.
Nah, I'll tell you why, because nostalgia's a strong thing.
Yeah.
that's
90s
true.
X-Men will always have a spot in my heart.
That's true.
Same thing with Batman. No
Yeah.
matter what,
Mhm.
Batman's always going to be something that I'd be
Yeah.
like, what do they got?
Right.
Oh, by the way, I just do want to say this: if you guys hear like some static in the background, we're at the Edge Martial Arts School, and the AC's broken, so you will hear fans playing in the background.
We are sitting in the sauna podcasting
Yeah.
live.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
So
right.
I
I'm
just-
trying to toughen them
so
up.
if y'all hear a little something back there, that's what's going on. But
Hey,
you
I
know
am
what?
happy to report that we have secured not only, like, instead of repairing the AC, we decided to upgrade the AC to include 15 tons of air
Mhm.
with the option of 20 going in here. It's going to feel better in here than it has.
We will be
since we've
training in our
opened.
winter clothes.
That's going to be awesome.
Yes! You'll have to wear a gi.
Giggity.
It's like, why are you wearing a gi in Muay Thai? I'm for freezing.
Nice.
Hey, and that goes in next Monday. That's why I had to do that paperwork and the
Excellent.
facts.
Yeah, it's going to be
So that's
awesome.
when they go start putting it in.
Yeah, Monday.
All right. Nice.
Nice and cool for
Monday,
me
Monday.
on Wednesday.
Hey, let's hit it. Let's start with the conspiracy theories.
Conspiracies. And like we said, it's been a conspiracy that's taken us this long to get here. So let's go ahead and start with the moon landing, since that's kind of what
Okay.
anniversary day.
Yeah, man.
So what is it, 20 or 30, 40, 47 years.
Mm.
It's my birthday.
Happy birthday to...
No, not today, but I always 1969.
Ah,
Yeah, I always said that's the best thing about being born. That was when they went to the moon.
that's cool.
There
Quote
you go.
unquote.
What was your year like?
72.
Yeah, but what was big about it that you were like?
I was born. There it is.
Why did I ask?
The earth changed forever.
I'm the year of the Tron.
Oh, I love me some Tron.
That's when you were born.
Yeah.
I'm so old.
Dude, I love me some Tron. I like the second one as well.
I'm pretty sure me and Matthew McConaughey were like, okay, hey.
All right, all right, all
All
right.
right. Screwed up my daggum reference. okay.
No way,
It's like,
no way, no way.
I'm pretty sure that's Barney Rubble there, Fred. Hey, Fred.
Hey, boo boo.
Hey, boo boo. All right, now conspiracy theory on this. When I heard somebody even say, and like I was saying, I never had access to understanding what a big deal on a conspiracy theory was. I was like, what does that mean? You know,
Uh-huh.
until the History Channel, and I started watching these 1 hour shows that they always have on about everything.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this one, and I was like, wait a minute. We didn't really go to the moon? Now, what did you guys hear was the actual story from the conspiracy theorists that say we didn't go
The one that I've always heard was it was just filmed in a studio.
with Stanley
Yeah.
Kubrick,
Yeah.
the guy from 2001 Space Odyssey?
Space Odyssey, yeah. I actually heard at one time they took them out in the desert and did that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Like in Arizona or New Mexico.
Yeah. I heard a studio. I heard that they had some stuff on the desert floor, and they had huge, studio stuff. Okay.
Back then in 69, though, everything they filmed with wire work, you could see the wire somewhere.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
time. The greatest thing that I ever heard about the conspiracy was when, I don't know if it was Buzz Aldrin. It wasn't Neil Armstrong. Who, let me tell you, as a kid, I remember he being a hero. He was
Yeah.
up.
Oh,
Neil
yeah.
Armstrong was up there with Evil Knievel
Yeah, he's an American icon.
and the Fonz. They were like, you know,
It's
they
the
were.
trifecta.
It was. That was the Trinity.
Yeah.
And they were fantastic. Yeah, I remember like you would have like rockets for sale, you know, as a toy, and you're like, yeah, dude, that was a legit thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And but somebody had made a comment. I'm thinking it was Buzz Aldrin, but it could have been one of the other astronauts. And they got so ticked off about someone trying to steal their accomplishment that right during, you know, the question when the guy was asking, it was like from someone from the press. And he started just saying it was faked, it was hoaxed, you're a liar and all. And he decked him.
Oh.
He decked him. This old 80-year-old man says, "Screw you, punk!"
Nice.
And he knocked him right. I mean, I don't know if he knocked him out, but he smashed him.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's what my astronaut hero would do.
Yeah. Now, you was talking about toys about this. Did you ever have the one, like the space capsule with like a little parachute on it?
I remember
I'm
that.
sure.
I had those. I remember we'd be like on the second floor of the house throwing it out and watch it slowly
I'm
come
always
down.
doing that, yeah.
I used to love that.
My biggest thing that I remember, I had like, I mean, it's about the size of our water bottles or a Coke bottle, you know, a big moon man. And it had like, it was built like the Green Army Men, you know, with that little green like base that it would
Yeah,
stand on. Well, this one was solid white. And I remember this thing being massive, and my grandma gave it to me. And I remember thinking, Neil Armstrong rocks, but what am I going to do with this? Yeah, it doesn't have any movable, you know, like G.I. Joe arms or Steve Austin,
Steve
you know,
Austin, I had
grips.
the astronaut outfit.
It's one of
Looks
my
like-
favorite things
Yeah,
ever.
it looked like it was in tinfoil.
Dude, when you rolled up Steve Austin's arm, you
Yep.
know, the skin, you
Yep.
could take out that
Mhm.
bionic eye. That was cool,
Yeah,
dude.
my guy, he had like a chip in his arm.
Yeah, he had two chips,
Yeah,
forearm and his. Yeah.
Yeah, I told you I had that figure still.
You still have it?
Yeah.
Lucky.
But the chip and stuff is gone. But you can still look through the back of his eye.
dude,
Yeah.
you have to bring that in so I can
I
take a
wish,
photo
I wish
with
he could do
it.
this like when he was running. Oh,
No. I'm pretty sure that was Chevy Chase hitting a golf ball.
Same thing.
No.
He's like,
All right.
no.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe that we didn't go?
No, I believe we did go.
Do you believe?
I believe we went, yeah. That
Astronaut technology.
all these conspiracy theories they come up with just a minuscule amount of plausibility just to make people think,
Yeah.
there's something that could be there. Like, the only thing I could see giving this any kind of legs is the technology, like you just said.
Mm-hmm.
They said we got to the moon in less technology than what is
Yep.
in our cell phones right now. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thinking they had those giant room-sized computers with the punch cards that you had to put
Yeah.
in.
You remember Armageddon? He goes, "Oh yeah, I've seen this one. Wile E. Coyote. He straps himself to the rocket. Doesn't work out so good for Wile E. Coyote." That's what they were doing.
Yeah.
They're blowing themselves
Yeah.
up on a rocket.
Right.
I mean, it was like, we're going to shoot you guys in that general direction. I hope you make it to the moon.
But on that same, tit for tat, I mean, we have flying capabilities,
Yeah.
like the Concorde.
Look at our satellites, our International
Concorde.
Space
But
Station.
it doesn't mean that a glider doesn't work. So, where you can actually, because you'd think, yeah, but you just glide down. No, you can ride the currents. Now, I make that, comparison because even that low amount of technology, if it's done right, you can fly.
Yeah.
But that is, I mean, I agree with you. And the best lies are sprinkled with a little truth. If it's got a little truth, you're like, oh, man, that's right there, what he said, man. I
Just
believe
enough
that.
plausibility.
One of the biggest things they said that proved it was the flag.
Oh, that was garbage, though.
That was like, look.
As a kid,
look, you're in a vacuum,
And it's
that
waving.
flag is moving.
Ah.
And they said, I remember seeing on MythBusters.
Yeah.
Where they did it, and something, I can't remember what it said, made it move.
Yeah, because what it was is it was made with a rod that would keep it extended, and it was squared out because they didn't want it to drape or have an astronaut hold it up. They
Yeah.
wanted to stake it for America
Yep.
and put our flag up there and have it in all its glory straight out. So they made like a tinfoil type of flag with like, a frame that it was on. So that when they put it in, that, kind of wooden sticks that was on there, like whatever, kind of wobbled.
Case closed.
Well, I knew that as a kid. I remember them saying that. Why does it move like that? And they said, well, they've got it to where it will, extend. As a
Yeah.
kid.
Right.
in school. But the one thing that made me have a moment of pause, like maybe we didn't go. One guy, and it was just enough truth, because he said that the radiation belt, if anybody had ever tried to take and go through the radiation belt that is outside of our
Atmosphere.
or in the middle of the atmosphere or whatever,
Yeah.
it would cook you. It wouldn't even be a chance. You'd be dead. They had a name for it. I can't remember, but I remember thinking, well, dude, really? That could be true. So yeah, debunked. I believe we went.
I
Oh,
believe
yeah,
we
for
went,
sure.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, now here's another conspiracy. While we're up on the moon,
Mhm.
that aliens are on the moon.
Now, are they on the dark side of the moon?
Well,
Because I always heard that. I always heard, they're on the
Always.
other side, so you can't find them. So
Right,
you can't
right.
see them.
I've heard that. I've heard in craters, and I heard that they're all over the moon, but NASA has blacked out, any kind of transmission photos like they did on YouTube the other day.
Yes, that's one of the things I was going to bring up, too.
Yeah, but
They said that's happened multiple times when they have something moving in space, they don't know what it is, cut transmission.
oh yeah. Well, and my thing about that is that I don't think it would have to be on the dark side of the moon if there's people who are filtering our pictures.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, do I really think they are? No. But think of a building here on Earth. It could be anywhere.
Yeah.
How are you going to see it up there, even if you're seeing a picture of the Earth,
Yeah.
from a distance? You ain't seeing one of the buildings on the Earth.
Right.
You know? But that's a guilty pleasure to get on YouTube and watch these guys who have done the work to say circling. Look at this right
Yeah.
here. That's a building.
Yeah.
That looks like a
Oh, you see
vehicle.
that? You see that with Mars all the time.
Yeah,
I love
the
it.
Yeah.
Mars.
Look, see, this is like a pyramid, just like
Uh-huh.
there's in Egypt.
Dude, I love it.
Same thing. There's just that little bit of plausibility because if something like that were to happen, you could see the government cutting out the transmission because they
Yeah.
don't want hysteria. in the
Yeah, because
public.
people would say,
Yeah.
screw the rules, man. We're all dead.
Hey, there's a face on Mars.
Why don't you put her in charge, man? Dude, love that movie. What do you think about that? Face on Mars.
I mean, I think it's just rock formation.
Yeah, me
itself.
too.
Yeah, rock formation. Do you remember the first time you ever saw it?
Yeah.
And you were like, what?
I mean, I literally was like, I was like, pause. He was like,
Oh my
goodness.
God, I did too.
There it is. There it is. There's the evidence.
And I hate to say it, I was a grown adult when I saw it. And I was like,
Yeah.
hold on, honey.
There's actually science behind like people look for faces in inanimate objects.
Oh, no kidding?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see him in clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, right? No, but I saw that and I remember thinking to myself, oh, yes, proof. I'm pretty sure that was in my X-File heyday.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Mulder, get up here.
Yeah, I still love me some X Files.
But it's so funny because if you see any picture, I think, did I tell you guys about that when I was a kid? My mom had left me at the house alone. I was watching TV, and no big deal, but when I was a kid, like around probably 6 or 7, really afraid of the dark. I mean, like petrified of the dark. I'd make my brother go, hey, Craig, you gotta, come here. Man, you're fine. Ain't nobody here. I'm sitting down. Get up. And she left me alone in the house and had gone to a friend's house, like two houses over. And all of a sudden, I'm watching TV, and then I noticed, ain't nobody in this house except me. There ain't no lights on in this house except this TV. And then I look over into the bedroom, and I swear I thought I saw like a kid just sitting there motionless. Now that thing had me freaked out to where I was frozen. Like, okay. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? It's crazy. It's the devil. Devil's in a kid body. Devil's in a kid body. Crazy kid gonna kill me. What am I gonna do? All these things are going through my head. And I said, and I mean, I'll bet you I stood still or sat still. I mean, for a solid 10, 15 minutes. Just kind of like, if I move, all of a sudden this demon is going to wah at me. And I decided to make a break for it. I take off, Mach 1 out the door, leave the door open. And I remember thinking, oh, man, I'm fast. He ain't going to catch me. And I don't think my feet hit, but half the time on the ground, I was like airborne. Finally come back because my mom, I didn't even knock on the neighbor's door. I go into the thing and slam the door behind me, like the coyote or something. And they just start giggling because they know he got scared. We go back. Dude, yeah, I'm just totally like playing it cool. No, I was just checking on you, Ma. I don't know where you were trying to play it cool. And I go back in there, and I mean, I'm like, Mom, just be careful, man. I don't want to say nothing, but she's like, what's wrong with you? And as soon as we go in there, I'm thinking, I might have to protect my mother, man. That demon child is in there. And I look inside, and there's this blanket that when she turns on the thing, that's all it was. The blanket was just kind of propped up a certain way. It looked like it had a head. I was convinced. You show me Mars, I'm pretty sure that face and those buildings on the moon. Another one, Noah's Ark.
I thought you were going to say, because you were frozen and that thing was frozen, there was your reflection in the mirror. I was like, that's what's going to happen. There was his reflection. That's why.
And then I twitched, and he twitched. I ran, and he started chasing me.
Because I just had this vision of a cat staring in the mirror, not knowing what to do.
Dude.
Then he slaps at it, and then he slapped back. Like, what to do?
I swear, man, my heart was pounding, and I was like, I'm about to die. I haven't even seen the Grand Canyon yet.
The only time I was like that is right after I watched Friday the 13th Part 4. I was alone in the house and it was dark. I needed to go upstairs. I was not going upstairs.
I'm so glad I'm not the only
one.
one.
Not gonna happen.
Dude, I remember even after I started training, I had moments where I was just like, it would come back and kind of get me, and I would smack myself mentally, going, "Are you kidding? Are you kidding?" Yeah, I was like 14 years old and training. I was like, I'm a roundhouse that guy, man.
Roundhouse.
Roadhouse. Hey, what episode were we talking about that on? Connor wants to hear that one, and he didn't remember it.
I don't remember what episode. I just remember
Probably animation.
Animation? See, I knew if I asked Josh, he's got like an encyclopedic brain.
I was just thinking, just Google Family Guy Roadhouse.
No, he wants to hear us talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably the time we went
I
through
thought
the
you meant-
cartoons.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. All right, hey, next
I was
conspiracy.
like, no one else. We might have talked about that on more than one occasion.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
No, bro.
He just made 4 turns.
Next one. What's on your list? Go. Come on, rapid fire.
I gotta find my phone over here.
Great Brandon Lee movie. If you haven't seen it.
I was gonna go with NASA covering up UFOs, but I think we kind of hit that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, let's just talk about it real quick because there's a lot of people who are convinced, and this goes to the heart of the conspiracy theory, that they're convinced that the government is hiding it. Do you believe that NASA or the government is hiding it?
In Area 51, if you want to look. Now, I've also heard they were hiding it in somewhere in Colorado.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's a new ranch.
And they say that
there.
every now and again in those 2 places, you'll see stuff flying around that you don't know what it is. And
Now,
if you don't know what it is, what is it? A UFO.
well, that's true, but do you think it's new technology or do you think it's alien technology?
See, I'm of the believer that it's new technology that we
You
just
have
don't
to.
know what it is.
Yeah.
That they've been working on, and because I remember they showed old videos where they were trying to get flying saucers to actually work.
Yeah, I remember those in black and white.
Yeah.
And it was like
Yeah.
wobbling, trying to
Yeah.
get up. Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to say Neil Armstrong was trying to do that song,
I wouldn't doubt it.
and because he was a hero back in the day. This is before they actually went up in space.
Oh, I got you.
So, and I was like, where would they get the idea of a flying saucer? Aliens, I'm telling you, they come down.
Could be, or like what you were saying, just like it is maybe something that is in the human psyche
Yeah.
to take and find faces and stuff. Maybe a disc-shaped, like a cloud type of
Something
thing.
really far up in the sky, and you can't tell what it is. You start making assumptions.
It's funny because I remember being a kid and hearing the term cigar-shaped, and I'm like, a cigar shape? Like, thinking of a flying cigar as opposed to a saucer.
Yeah.
But then if you look at a saucer,
Yeah.
dead on, it is cigar shape.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just from your perspective.
With like a little glass top on it.
Yeah. And a green guy going,
Yeah. I saw that one day. I could have sworn I did.
Now, here's the thing about new technology. I remember, there was a big time in my life when I was really on the History Channel nonstop. And looking, if you would come over to my house, I had, I think Brian came over one time, and he was looking through my
Your
save
DVR.
list.
Yeah, you told us about that.
And I was like, yeah, that's my stuff. So,
Say, why do you have 75 hours of History Channel in here?
dude, love it.
Because it's awesome.
One of the coolest things I heard in all of those documentaries ever was a guy that used to work for, was it Bell and Howe, who's the guy that developed, is it Bell Helicopters or something? One of the top aviation developers in the whole world. I cannot remember off the top of my head, and it's a common name that you'd be familiar with. But one of the vice presidents who was no longer with them said, he goes, let me just say this about UFOs and alien technology. We have stuff for real that if you saw it on Star Trek, we had that stuff 50 years ago. Now, yes, he could be lying. He could be wrong. He could be crazy. But you know when someone talks with sincerity that you just kind of like, dude, that sounded real.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the coolest thing I ever heard about that. So maybe it is.
I mean, you ever seen? I'm sure you've seen this, where they get someone to actually come out and speak about Area 51 who worked there.
Oh, yeah.
There's some stuff going on there that you guys won't know for a long time.
Dude, Bob Lazar, you ever heard his whole story about being, reverse engineering one? But the whole thing about it is they discount him everywhere you turn around. But he goes, well, of course they discount me. They have to.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? A little truth.
A little truth.
You know? I'll tell you what else is a real big thing that always got me is other countries' leaders stepping up and saying, I'm telling you straight up, the American government needs to come up off of it because we have proof. They need to take the lead on this because we know that they've got stuff that blows everything we got out. I'm talking about like, heads of state, top level military from around the world, I think the UK, France, not India, where else? Turkey.
That's the thing. No matter what technology we get, the military is going to get it first. They always try to weaponize whatever they can find.
Oh, yeah, and they're not going to take and unveil it if they can keep it a secret.
Right.
I mean, law number one, don't let the bad guy know what you can know, That's it.
Exactly right. All right, you guys want to bring it to Earth?
Bring it to Earth.
Bring it down, bro.
All right,
Bring it down one
let's go
time. I told you I'm rocking the mic, man. Bring it down.
You guys want to go to the Kennedy assassination?
Sure.
This has been like a huge thing ever since it happened.
It was the comedian.
I was like, what's he talking about? Comedian. Comedian is in the last X-Men movie.
X-Men. Was he in that?
I might be wrong.
Batman. You're thinking
Was it
of Batman?
Batman?
Yeah.
When they did the after credits and they had the Watchmen? It's Batman versus Superman. Didn't you see that one?
No.
They had an after credit thing and they
I
had.
I saw the after credits. I don't remember seeing him in it.
Gosh, I hope I didn't dream this up.
And what?
Are you talking about one of those how it should have ended things? Or are you talking about the actual movie?
Well, they had the panel in that Batman comic.
Yeah, there was
Maybe
Is that what you're talking
maybe that's what I'm talking about.
Because
My
they just
medias are running together.
They had the.
I was thinking Mr. Sinister,
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
tying that in with the
yeah.
Watchmen sticker.
That's what you got.
Dadgummit!
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I like to recall my authority status on all things pop culture. Can you imagine getting in our comments? It's like, dude, that dude, I don't have any idea what he's talking about.
Well, they would just join us.
Dude, right? All right, Kennedy assassination.
All right. Who did it? Where were they when they did it?
Oprah, Martha Stewart, you're
The butler in the kitchen with a pick knife.
That's one heck of a big knife.
One of my favorite, absolute favorite conspiracy movies was JFK with Oliver Stone.
Jifka.
I mean, I don't remember enjoying something that much until that point for a long, long time. And I was like, wait a minute. You could study this, and they got all the answers. Finally, man, it's coming out. And I watched it, and I tell you what, the more I watched it, the more I understood, kind of like who Ruby was and, all the Bay of Pigs and all. And boy, I don't know about you. Back and to the left. Back. And pretty soon you're like, oh, dude, hands down, conspiracy. What do you think? What is your thing? Was there a conspiracy to kill JFK?
Josh, you want to go first?
I really don't know enough about it to comment on it.
Do you have...
This is like one of the biggest conspiracies of all time.
Would you have any kind of opinion just off the cuff?
I really don't know. I mean, all I know is he was in the parade. He got shot. And
Let me tell you, if you want to have some fun, especially with something, because aliens, you make up your mind about that, and the whole thing just gets written off.
Yeah.
Same thing with Bigfoot. This one is fun.
Yeah.
Look into it.
Yeah.
It's like a huge
I mean,
murder mystery.
Right.
It's
you
really
look at
neat.
it this way. This guy, Oswald, went to Russia, height of the Cold War, and he was there for, was it a couple years?
Yeah.
Something like that. And they in the movie, they're like, oh, this guy couldn't shoot. They said he was a marksman there.
Really?
Yeah, in real life, he was.
I heard he was average marksman.
I mean, I heard he was really good.
Okay.
They said like at how big a distance he shot like bullseyes like 43 or 40 out of 45 shots.
Dude, let me tell you what, that's not easy.
That's a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, this guy goes to Russia for a few years, then his wife, who meets her and brings her back, and they let him come back to the country. And he's got all this propaganda now from Cuba, a communist country. It's hard to say there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And then he shoots a guy, and to get shut up, he's like, I'm a patsy. Next thing you know, he's dead.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the guy that shot him, he finally comes around and says, I'll speak, cancer, and dies.
Yeah. Conveniently, right?
Yeah. They said that he got cancer and was starting to die, and he's like, I'm gonna come clean now.
Yeah.
And he died real quick after that, getting ready to start to come clean. I still think it was a lone nut, but it's hard to go, oh yeah, nothing else.
Right.
I definitely think it was a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was as far reaching as all the things that Oliver Stone. I think he, was going to include everything that he had any,
Like any
idea.
Yeah, it was like any inkling.
Yeah.
How about that?
If it played off as good, he was
Yeah.
going to put it in the movie
Yeah.
and then
I mean,
defend
they
it.
said later on, some of the stuff that he put in there was definitely not true.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of that stuff is like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Now, I will say this, and this was actually a really great lesson for me. I took and I watched JFK a whole bunch of times, and if you'd have tried to talk me out of it, I would have taken and regurgitated, the lessons I'd learned from Oliver Stone and
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Have you ever watched it?
Dude, it's a great movie. But
It's a long movie, but it's
it's
really,
a long
really good.
movie, but it's
really
good.
Mhm.
And I would have regurgitated it, and I would have been hook, line, and sinker, and defending my point of view. And then ABC, I think it was Peter Jennings actually, did a special on the JFK.
But I think he's from Canada.
Oh, you see, that means he's impartial.
Yeah.
You don't have no dog in this hunt.
He's a Mountie.
That's right. But he,
That was so bad. I don't
yeah,
know.
what was that? Try it again.
I don't know. I was like the Irish Mountie. I don't.
I'm pretty sure that's Conor McGregor as a Mountie.
Yes, Connor's a Mountie.
We're here to take over.
Wasn't efficient with my shots.
That's right.
Obviously, you were. It took you 3 to shoot the man in the head.
But when his show was on debunking the JFK conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he took the JFK movie and
Yep.
deconstructed every little piece of it,
Yep.
and then refuted it. And I was like, everything he said had enough logic and truth. At the end of it, I was convinced that I had been duped
Yeah.
and that he had answered every question logically,
Because
sensibly.
I remember seeing that thing too. Because anytime anything about Kennedy's on,
I'm on it.
that and Lincoln too.
Yeah, more Kennedy than
Yeah.
Lincoln. Lincoln so far,
Because-
I was like, maybe. But Kennedy was like yesterday in
Yeah.
a lot of respects.
I mean, it's like one of those things that if you were alive then, you knew exactly where you were.
Dude, that was like 9/11
I mean,
for that
it's
generation.
like 9/11, or I think maybe me and you. Do you remember when the space shuttle?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
When that blew up, it's like I knew exactly where
Yeah,
I was. When
still
I found
do.
out, I was in 6th period science.
I was homesick watching it, and I was like, "What is this?" Wow.
Mhm.
But here's the thing: I was on that camp 100%, and then I watched JFK, and I was like, "No, no, no, no." And the lesson that I kind of came up there is like, guard yourself diligently
Yeah.
against, logical arguments. Give yourself time to where emotion doesn't play into
Yeah.
it, where you're into it,
Uh-huh.
and sit back and then put your own, resources
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Compare both sides.
So what I think there was a conspiracy, and I don't think it was anywhere near as far-reaching as what Oliver Stone said. I don't think he was completely alone, because I hate to say it, there's absolutely no way a shot from behind makes your head go back. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
The grassy knoll could have been a spot.
Yeah.
There was a drain.
Yeah, there's a drain right there beside the
Right
street
beside.
where they were coming down. So he would have that shot right up. Yeah.
And there's even stories recently that have surfaced that one of the Secret Service agents actually wheeled around.
I actually heard the driver.
Yeah, say
Actually, he got hit once, and he actually turned around to look, capped him right there.
oh, and he did it.
Yeah, I don't.
Boy,
I
it's
don't,
gonna
I
make
don't
me
think,
watch it.
I don't think he did that though.
I
but-
think that the either Secret Service agent misfire, he screwed up, or a guy down in the drain. And what would you call it? Just a street drain?
Yeah, just like a water drain to drain the street when it rains.
You know, like one when you were a kid, it actually, if you were playing basketball or something, it would go down. You'd be like, oh man, we got to jump down.
That's
in
a
this.
big drain to take a basketball.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you,
'Cause mine
that's
would-
what I'm
mine take
trying
our
to.
tennis balls and stuff, but
It might be down there.
Oh yeah, no doubt, right?
I know there's an alligator in there. It's
Yeah.
like a 40-foot
Okay,
alligator.
Yeah.
Frisbees. How about frisbees? Does that work
Frisbee,
for you?
Yeah,
Frisbee
frisbee
works.
works.
Yeah, but a UFO frisbee.
An UFO.
UFO.
I was there, man. I almost beat you on it. But this to the day I die, love the mystery of it.
I mean, think about this though. The police. I mean, the man gets shot within an hour. They find the man that did it.
Now that doesn't surprise me at all.
It surprises me. It's like, I mean, I understand that the one guy that was in there was missing, but they didn't know where the shot came from because where it was had echo. So you don't know, did the shot come from here? Did it come from there? Did it come from here?
Totally right.
And they had, a few people that said, we saw something up there, but we also heard people say they saw something from the grassy knoll, like behind that fence.
Yeah.
So it's like, it seems kind of to me that they found that guy that fast, and he got home and was coming back, killed a police officer on the way back.
Yeah, that don't make any sense.
Something Tippett, J.D. Tippett
I don't remember.
was the name of the officer. Yeah, how about that?
Oh, okay, yeah. Look at you.
And the only reason they really caught him was because he snuck into a theater,
movie
and
theater.
didn't pay.
Ah.
I mean, just think, if he had paid for a ticket, they might not have found him.
They would have not known. But that's another thing. Like,
On the same day.
Yes, all within that hour.
I'm just gonna go shoot somebody and then go watch a movie.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, what he was doing is he was hiding in
and
the
they
theater.
Said, They said
Uh-huh.
after he shot the guy, someone saw him shoot the police officer, and he was wearing a jacket. So as he was running away, he threw the jacket off and just kept on going.
Ah.
but the
He had curtain rods. He didn't have no curtain rods. He had a gun.
that's what kept the flag up on the moon. Was curtain
Yes,
Ah,
yes.
It's all one conspiracy.
One ginormous
It all comes
conspiracy.
together.
That's right.
And by the way, Sirhan, he may not have been the only person to kill Robert
Robert.
Kennedy.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Think about it. He got shot by a man with two first names, Sirhan. Like what?
You know, it's funny because I've heard that before about the assassin's name and stuff, but I almost feel irresponsible that it took me a second. It's like, Robert who? Kennedy, you dummy. It's like, why wouldn't I? I'm just not that connected to that one.
Well, they said they think someone shot him from the back too,
Yeah,
because they
I've
said
heard
when he was
that.
going out, that Sirhan was in front of him, and they said they think someone shot him from the back too.
But that suck. Wouldn't that suck if you were the patsy for life
Yeah.
and your life got destroyed because you were in the wrong place at the wrong
Yeah.
time, and then you had to be buried under Area 51.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
Dude, but with Kennedy and stuff, when you said how do they catch him within an hour, stranger things have happened because there's like this myth of hyper efficiency from American government, American military, American science. There's always this part of us that really entertains the idea that it doesn't matter, man, they'll figure it out. After being in the military for 6 years, don't count on it.
Yeah. They had a episode of iZombie, and the police guy
I
he was
love
talking about
iZombie.
that. He was like, they're like, can't you just do some forensic CSI stuff or something like that? And they're like, it's not like that. Y'all watch too much TV.
Dude, it's not like that.
What was it 63? I mean, they didn't have a whole lot of this forensic stuff going on.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
no doubt. There's
Fingerprints,
no
right?
DNA testing.
Yeah,
back
how
then.
long did it take them to figure out a fingerprint?
Yeah.
Well, and the whole reason I bring up the hyper efficiency thing is because you're like, well, wouldn't that work against your argument that they were hyper efficient? Yeah, they could find him if they really wanted to. Well, just like him getting away. If he bungled it and started tripping and some kid said, I saw some idiot just like take and throw a jacket and he was running and it looked weird, he was in there. You know what I'm saying? That kind of
That's
thing
all
happens.
they would have to go on is a bullet and eyewitness accounts.
Yeah. And
But I mean, do you think? I mean, to me, that works totally against any conspiracy.
what's that?
I mean, if you go, okay, you go to this place like, well, one guy, he was working, he's not here now, and then later on you found out that guy shot somebody across town, and now he's right over here in the theater. Wouldn't that work against a conspiracy? It's like, why would you think, okay, well, if he did all of that, where do these other people supposedly go?
Yeah, right. And I think they say that the definition of a coup or
Coup d'etat.
a coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat.
That was in the movie. Right?
That's in the
Was that they had to have two people at least in cahoots.
Yeah.
And
Him and Ruby.
without a doubt, even if he shot as the only guy that shot outside of like the Secret Service or the guy driving the car, there was more than just him involved.
Now
So by that very definition, yeah, it was a conspiracy.
Now you know there was what, 3 shots? They said one of them hit what's his name, the Texas governor. One of them hit him, kind of went through Kennedy, hit him the magic bullet, and then but they really easily explained that the seat that the governor was on was down a little and over a little, so the Kennedys could get into the back seat. You know, so they want the Kennedys to be up higher.
Yeah, so they can be seen.
Yeah, so that way when it's shot down, it's going that direction. It's not stop, turn, and coming over.
That's right.
It's like it's right there in that line. But one shot, they said don't know where it went, and they later on they actually found it hit one of the street lights, like above like stoplights and stuff, and actually hit the pole there. And the third one, well, actually, and then it went down further and it hit a curb, ricocheted, and like a piece of the curb hit a guy in the eye, and he was bleeding from the eye.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, kind of like in his chin. And the third one was the kill shot.
Wow.
So that's what they say anyway. That's the conspiracy too, to prove it.
See, I'm telling you, there is enough little details on here. It is a fun little kind of figure out. As much as it's a tragedy,
Yeah.
I mean, that we had our president, assassinated. It's totally interesting to take and look at all this. The Zapruder film, too, has been dissected. That's the guy who filmed all the footage that you see.
Yeah.
And they've
Abraham Zapruder.
got and they've got people that are looking at this thing so extensively that they're seeing there's even a lady who doesn't run on the film.
Yeah.
With babushka on, like a
the
veil.
babushka lady is what they call her, yeah.
The babushka lady. And they've got something like, how come she didn't run? Everybody else is freaked out, and she's just standing there watching it play like she's in on it.
Yeah. And you see a lot of people immediately get up. They don't point to the book depository. They point to that hill. It's like, how can you say there's no validity to someone being on that hill, getting up their gun, taking off?
Oh, 100% could have been.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, right? What do they say that one of the best ways to get them? I think they had this in the film. It's been a long time since I see it, but triangulation.
Yeah.
You take and get like a turkey shoot.
Yeah.
You put them down and let them go through the ambush, and then take them out.
And they always said if he was going to do it, why didn't he shoot him when he was coming toward him? He had a wide open shot, and
it was a better shot,
coming straight down the road, easy shot.
But if you had an ambush set up, you wait until he's in the kill box.
Wait, he's in that triangle.
That's it. When he's in there, you take it. Now it's funny because I love the.
I mean, so many of these things are straight out of the movie.
Oh, totally. But like I said, that's the only place I really got educated outside of some of the History Channel follow-ups.
Yeah.
And Peter Jennings.
Yeah, Peter Jennings.
But
Canadians know everything.
I'll tell you, one of the greatest things is hearing it in pop culture films referenced.
Yeah.
You remember when Michael Bay?
We've
it
been
Michael
bait
Bay?
again.
Who was the team that did The Rock and Con Air and Michael Bay and
Nicolas Cage.
No, Jerry. I can't remember his name.
It's one of those things I know you're talking about, but I no clue his name.
Bruckheimer?
Yeah, I think it was Jerry Bruckheimer.
Yeah.
And it was funny because in a lot of their movies they started making it like a little kind of joke where they would mention Roswell, Area 51 and Kennedy. And I remember on The Rock was like one of my favorite ones. And he goes, he's got our microfilm, all the greatest secrets, from the past century. And he started naming them. The alien landing at Roswell, the Kennedy assassination. And you're like, that is on this microfilm?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Microfiche.
Dude, that was good.
I'll tell you one of the funniest, and again, tragedy, but one of the funniest things I ever saw to talk about the assassination was on Seinfeld. There was a second spitter on the hill.
Yeah.
Someone spit on Kramer and Newman at a Mets game. It
Back
was
and to the left.
One of the
Back
funniest
and
things.
to the left. Hey, the other reference I saw, you remember Shooter with Mark Wahlberg?
Yes, yes.
He went to ask this guy some information. It's one of the coolest things, man. And the guy alluded to about being on the grassy knoll. And he still says, well, those boys didn't last long. They're buried out in the desert. In fact, I still got the shovels in my trunk.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, you're that guy? You buried the guy, killed the guy who killed from the grassy knoll, Kennedy.
That's awesome.
Great. Plus, they had a Lynchburg, Virginia part in that movie. Do you remember that? Shooter, Mark Wahlberg.
No.
They're getting ready to ambush this house, and you know how they always like, and they'll have like the place it is somewhere in the Middle East or in the Indian Ocean. Lynchburg, Virginia.
Oh, no kidding.
And I'm like, I was in the theater in Lynchburg, and the whole place started cheering. Yeah, it was a neat moment,
That's
dude.
cool.
Everyone goes, where's that at? We got to find it.
The only place we could figure if they were even gonna dupe a place, it'd be like Candler Mountain.
Yeah. Next. Waco. Who started the fire?
I'll be honest, I'm embarrassed to say I know nothing about this whole story.
Really? The whole
Yep.
David Koresh thing?
Well, I remember being a kid, or not a kid, but I like maybe college kid,
Mm-hmm.
and it coming on, and I just did not involve myself in the story at all.
Easy.
Same.
All right, we'll come back to that some other time.
All
then.
right.
Have you, I mean,
Let me look into it. Is it good?
What's the conspiracy?
The conspiracy was is this cult, and David Koresh was his cult leader.
Said he was Jesus, right?
Yeah, he said he was the Messiah, and he had come back, and he was leading these people, and they had slowly built up an arsenal of weapons, and that's why the government was stepping in, because they were getting these weapons, and then they were changing them to automatics, and the government's like, y'all can't do that, and so they went to try to stop them, and the people in there was loaded to bear, and they started shooting all these agents, so they had a standoff for like 40 some days. And David Koresh wouldn't let any of these people out. There were adults and a lot of kids there too, and he was like molesting kids, and he had like a bunch of these kids were his by other people's husbands and stuff like that, or wives, excuse me.
Right.
Yeah.
Husbands, what kind of
Yeah.
freak show are you
Well,
running here?
There's another conspiracy: men can have kids.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger did it. Seen him do it.
It's not a tumor.
So the conspiracy was when the government finally went back in, that who started the fire that burned down this place? Was it the government or was it David Koresh, to prove that this is going to be the last days on Earth, and he was going to be there and it was going to burn down around him. So that's the conspiracy. Who
I got
started
you.
that fire?
Who started the fire? I have to look into it.
We didn't start the fire.
Billy
it's
Joel
always been
did.
burning since the world's been turning.
Billy started the fire.
Let's see, since y'all are not up to date on that one.
Yeah, you should have vetted us on these.
I got the rest of the podcast is gonna be like, I don't know.
All right, well, 9/11.
Yep.
Have y'all heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
That number you call sometime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can never remember the number for that there. But
It's for the police.
there's a slew of conspiracies here.
Yep.
Did the government do this? Was this an inside job? I've heard that the Pentagon, it was a missile.
Yep.
It wasn't an actual plane that hit that.
Yeah.
We've heard in Pennsylvania, the hole was too small for an actual jet to go in. No matter how fast it was going, it would have left something bigger than what was there. I've heard one of the planes that hit, maybe both of them, they went to a secret airport, emptied out everybody, and they just had one person on the plane to fly it into the building.
So where are these people?
That's a good question. No one knows. And they say when you see the towers collapse, you see like little pops coming out, like a staged
Demolition.
Yeah, demolition. Go.
I can see there potentially being a government involvement.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't want to believe that
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah,
That
me
would-
too. There's just something inside of me that can't buy it because I'm just like, I can't believe our government would actually do that.
I mean, there's like, we can start this war, and there's a lot of money in war.
Yeah, and push the agenda for the Middle East,
Yeah.
to put us
So we
in
can
there.
start that war against all these countries in the Middle East. Yeah.
But I will say, because like you said, like we were talking about with hyper efficiency,
Mhm.
you're like, could these guys pull it off? That's
Yeah.
the first question.
Mhm.
And the answer is yeah.
Yeah.
That could have
Back
been
then,
something
yeah.
that
Yeah.
could have been pulled off.
Yep.
Take over the
I mean,
plane,
because
train.
back then, all these things that's set up in airports, it's not there.
Yeah, it's
You
not
could
there.
take whatever you wanted onto a plane
Oh,
back
yeah.
then.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you had some things that had to be checked, but I mean, I remember
Yeah.
flying. It is not like it is now.
Right.
No kidding.
But the whole thing about the controlled demolition and that steel won't burn,
Yeah.
at that thing, it had to be exploded, because they said the jet fuel was so hot it burnt.
Mhm.
But then I've heard, experts say that's just not true. It, the way that thing went down, structurally, that's how it would have gone down.
Yeah,
Whether it was,
pancake right on top,
yeah,
so yeah.
it's like, just simple physics. Weight on top is too heavy for those supports. It's going to drop.
Yeah.
And then
Because
the
people
same
always
question.
said, why did it not, kind of come down a little bit, then tip?
Yeah, it's the same thing though. If it was coming down with that suddenness,
Mm-hmm.
like if you took and knocked out one whole floor, which is what happened,
Yeah.
you're gonna get that card effect. It
Yeah.
did look like a demo,
Mm-hmm.
but
I mean, for me, those poppings, to me, it's just that pressure.
yeah,
It's just
Uh-huh.
like,
Ditto.
if you have a door and you slam on one side,
yeah,
and if you have a loose door on the other side, it'll like come open and shut.
and shut.
So
Yeah,
to me, I just think that's what that was.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do think though that it's important enough that there should be a continued dialogue.
I mean, there was a documentary.
I don't think it's disres-
Have you ever seen the documentary Loose Change?
I've heard of it.
And that they
That's on Netflix, right?
I
think
don't know
that
if it is. I saw it on YouTube a long time ago.
Okay, yeah.
But they made a long list of stuff, and there's another one on Netflix too that also goes through a long list of stuff. And then I remember seeing a documentary that answered all of them. I can't remember what it is, and I can't find it anywhere.
Huh?
I mean, it's out there somewhere. I don't
Too
know.
many,
where.
too
saw-
many answers.
I saw one time where the news reported that the second building had been hit, and then they cut to somebody else like in a building that was around the area, and you could still see the building up. It hadn't been hit yet, but they already reported that it had been hit.
I've heard that before. They already said that it had, and it was like, no,
Yeah.
it hadn't even been hit yet. That's weird.
'Cause I remember I was at work. We didn't have a television, and somebody come over because I heard when I was going to work that a plane had hit the tower.
Uh-huh.
I had this vision of this little
Cessna.
plane, hitting it, and the building just kind of like rejecting it like a guy slapping a basketball.
Right.
I didn't envision this huge plane going into it.
Yeah, man. I
And
tell
when
you.
you see the video of that, it's sobering real quick.
No kidding.
Yeah, I remember I was in the truck with my Uncle Jimmy, and we were going, we were working, and we had left one job. We were going to the second job, and I think Krista had called me up and said, hey, a plane had just gone into the Trade Center. I was like, yeah, we just heard it on the radio. We had the radio on. And she goes, yeah, that's terrible. And then probably, it wasn't even a few minutes later that my mom called up and said another plane has just hit the other tower,
Yep.
and they just found out the Pentagon has been hit.
Yeah.
And my mom told Jimmy, hey, you guys need to come back, something's going on.
Right.
And I didn't hear the conversation. This is all I heard from Jimmy. He took and hung up the phone, and he goes, we got to go home. And I said, what's going on? He goes, we're under attack.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I was like, what? And he goes, two planes just hit that towers, and one just hit the Pentagon. This is coordinated, Troy. We got to get ready. And I was like, I remember thinking right then, I was like, nothing matters about anything that was important 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Let's go get our guns.
Yep.
and get ready for Red Dawn.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, it's
Wolverine.
coming. Yeah, dude.
I remember
Crazy.
the first sport thing, if you can even say, that I did or I saw after that, we went and trained martial arts.
Yeah, I remember that. Everything was closed. The mall.
Yep.
And I remember they're like,
We-
"We gonna close?"
we were
And I
at
was
Gold's
like,
Gym.
"No,
Yeah.
we're gonna open."
Yeah.
And it's like, isn't it dangerous? And I remember thinking about it and saying, if you hear a lot of other people had echoed the sentiment, but I was like, "What are you gonna do? Hide?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go.
Yeah.
They don't own us.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if we have to be, somewhere together in a group, this is the team that I'd like to take and spear hunt the,
Yes, I remember
the protective
it was,
detail.
Right.
It was either the next day or 2 days later, something like this. Because I know it wasn't that day. It was one of the next 2 days. I remember that.
I remember that night we opened.
Yeah, because I remember everybody was, because we used to line up out in front of the room and go, well, are we actually going to actually do this and have a class?
Yeah, and there wasn't hardly anybody there, but
Yeah.
we did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tell you the other thing, and I was talking about this with Will tonight for some reason. I remember it had a huge impact on me. To me, it was probably the shining moment of his career, David Letterman. That night, I'm almost positive it was that night. He went on the air.
Yeah.
And everybody was like dead silent. There was not applause. He came on the air and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "we're coming to you live from New York. We have had the greatest tragedy in American history take place today, but we will not be scared and run. There's been a lot of decision, back and forth questions about the decision. Should we go on or should we be safe?" And he goes, "We will not be scared. We will not run. We will live. They will not beat us." And I don't know why, man, but my patriotism went through the roof.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it literally did make me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I was like somebody was, you think of Braveheart and these guys given a charge, nobody would ever think David Letterman.
Right.
But I'll never forget him for giving that little bit of comfort.
Yeah.
I remember the biggest thing in sports, the first sporting event back in New York
Yeah.
was the Mets against the Braves. My New York Mets against the Braves. These are teams that hated each other. And you see them coming out, shaking hands, tears running down
Yeah,
their
dude.
faces.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting we're talking about it now.
I can still get emotional if I put myself in those moments.
Because
That
they
is-
were people there that had family members that
Died.
Officers were there. And Hall of Famer, going into the Hall of Fame this year, Mike Piazza, he comes up in the 8th inning. The Mets were down by 1, and he hit the game-winning go-ahead home run. And the crowd, you see that some of these people, smiles on their face for the first time.
Oh,
I'm gonna be
yeah,
honest,
yeah, yeah.
I was watching that game. I'm getting chills now thinking.
Yeah,
about
thinking
that, 'cause
about it, right?
I'm a diehard Mets fan, and you see all these people. This one lady, she was talking about it, that her kids, they lost their dad, and she was like, they may never smile again. And when he hit that home run, you see these kids jumping up and down. I'm like, wow.
It's huge that
Wow.
you can't underestimate the power of diversion in those situations.
Mhm.
Because some people would say, you know what, that's a lack of respect. You're not focused.
Right.
And it's like, no. We respect the spirit of what this person would have wanted us to do, which is live. Don't let them beat you.
Exactly.
It's the whole thing. Like when I die, I don't want people crying. I want them to have a party.
That's what I've always said too.
Isn't that a great
Yeah.
idea? Celebrate
Yeah.
the times we had, not the ones we won't.
Yeah.
I think that's a better thing. Man, I don't know. Just my feelings. It's like,
Yeah. I mean,
chill it out
what about you, Josh? What do you want?
for a funeral.
He's like this. I don't want to die. What are you talking about? That's what I want.
He goes, I actually have a list. I want bagpipes. Rolling Stones, you can't have
Okay,
what you
one
want.
of my friends had a wedding. They had bagpipes. Dude couldn't play the bagpipes.
I was
no,
there.
oh, no.
And you remember him cussing?
Yeah.
Son of a on
Because
stage.
I am walking, because I was in the wedding, and I'm walking back, and I'm doing all I can not to bust out laughing. It didn't work.
That was one of the most awkward moments in a wedding that I've ever been
Yeah.
through. He was up there trying to get this thing, and it sounded like somebody squeezing a farting cat or something.
I take it they
Hold
didn't
on.
audition him.
Yeah, I was like,
Dude, apparently he was really good at it, and he
Yeah.
was not having a day.
yeah,
Oh,
it was
okay.
that day that was the bad day.
Oh, no.
So we want good bagpipes, not those.
I remember thinking, to me, it wasn't funny. It's like watching Steve Carell in an awkward moment on The Office where I was like, I can't watch. It was awful. I was so just like mortified for this poor bastard.
Poor guy.
It was something else.
We got any more conspiracy theories?
I
Or
got it. So we're at 1 hour now. You want to do one more?
how many more do you have?
Oh, I got a bunch more.
Like, just give me a number. A bunch
No.
don't tell me.
A slew.
Let's
Half a
rapid
bushel.
fire them like we do. Just rapid fire real quick.
Half a bushel.
NASA kind of UFOs. We hit that one. Trade Center, D.C. Kennedy. Did Hitler escape?
I don't think so.
Nah, I don't think so.
I tell you why I think it's
It's not living
plausible.
in Bolivia.
I think it's plausible because in where was it? Argentina.
Yeah, Argentina.
They have a huge, not huge,
German.
but, yeah, German alliance.
I've heard that. I've heard that. Yeah.
And it has actually been confirmed that
A bunch of Nazis went there.
a submarine come up offshore after he had supposedly passed away, like months after, and they say that he got off the submarine that day.
I'm pretty sure
Now-
he's in the Hollow Earth riding a T-Rex in the new
Yeah,
world.
he's down there with Tupac.
Velociraptor.
Well, I tell you what, he keeps making songs, man.
That's
Keeps
right.
making out, making money.
Yeah.
See, Waco, y'all don't know nothing about no Waco. Pyramids, how were they made?
Oh yeah, aliens.
That's a good one, yeah.
Because my question is this. You got these guys back then, they lived to be, what, 30, 40 at the most?
Right.
And you go like, I'm going to have a pyramid built for me. It's like, yeah, that's going to take longer than 30, 40 years.
No kidding.
I'm just saying.
Have you ever watched those shows where they try to take and engineer movement of those kind of stones?
Mm-hmm.
And they've tried all kinds of different ways. Same thing with Stonehenge and stuff.
Right.
But I think recently they just came up with one that they said, "Hey man, this could have done it." Go ahead. Do you have?
I was just going to say this. They said a lot of the stones were not from like that area.
Yeah, they were brought from
Yeah,
somewhere.
for like, I want to say like 50, 100 miles away,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Wow.
Unreal transportations. But
And they were also found, I know, I apologize this time, but they were also pyramids in like Peru and places like that, similar.
oh yeah, totally.
So
It's funny
Apocalypse.
too.
there you go.
There is evidence of even some structures sharing design elements, where they shouldn't have had any kind of shared design because they wouldn't have had the knowledge unless somebody
Right.
told them.
Yeah.
Feels alien though. Like, couldn't they have given us something a little more advanced than a triangle?
But maybe simplicity is the, top of advancement.
And they
you
also
return
said
to simplicity.
that they are actually put in areas that line up with stars.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
That right there, I've heard, and there's a lot of, just to me, I think there might be a legitimacy to that because astronomy was like, you think about it, they didn't have TV.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna occupy my time with that.
Yeah.
Why? Because that's my wonderment.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. So I can see that. I think that there's something to that. I just have no idea.
Yeah, I feel the same.
You know,
I just think I'm gonna have a pyramid built for me, but yeah, I'll be dead for like 100 years before that thing's done.
Yeah, I'll be dead before the first layer's built.
that ego is on another level for a pharaoh,
Yeah.
an emperor.
Can weather be controlled?
Harp. You ever heard of harp?
I have heard of harp.
Yep. Harp was an antenna array up in, was it Alaska?
Alaska, yeah.
Yeah. Which is like just not a field, huge fields
Yeah.
of these antennas. And nobody has any idea because it's on such government lockdown what it is. And one guy came out and he goes, look, I got to tell you what's going on. This harp thing that they're doing, which is like high frequency waves, something like this.
They were shooting them at the skies and
At the
stuff like
sky.
that. Yeah.
And one of the things they were talking about was weather control. one of the hopes was to be like if they could create a tornado and then
Mm-hmm.
pinpoint it like against our enemies as a weapon, a weather weapon.
Yep.
Always try to weaponize.
Yep, and the drought lands, be able to take care of the drought.
Right.
The ones where they did have, tornadoes, stop them. But this scientist came out. I remember my Uncle Jimmy. He's the one who told me about this too. He goes, the guy said that it's basically what they're gonna do is play with the ionosphere. He said the lack of information we have on the ionosphere, it's one of the most delicate parts of our total ecosystem that's out there. And what they're going to do amounts to taking and trying to give it a swift kick and see what happened. And if
Right.
they do it, you're going to have typhoons, you're going to have derechos, you're going to have hurricanes like you've never seen before. And what is happening now?
Yep. As I heard someone say, they mess with this, and it went really bad wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, do I believe this happened? No. I think this is just the Earth does what it does.
Yeah. Do you think it's a communication thing? It's not ionosphere or weather weapon or anything like that?
What's that?
The HARP.
I think it's communications. What I
You think
it
it's
is.
communications? It could be. I mean, and them keeping a secret might stir our imagination,
Yeah.
but they ain't gonna tell you anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, for that massive land area though, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It could be something else too.
Because I remember hearing the Germans wanted to try to do something way back in World War II. I heard they had all kinds of things they were trying in World
dude,
War II.
Right.
Dude, that's one
Yeah.
of my favorite things. I hate to say it, Hydra
Mm-hmm.
is really about, in that World War II thing, it's the Nazi regime, of
Yeah.
course. And they were all into UFOs, the occult.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
telepathy and all
Hitler
that.
was in some witchcraft stuff.
Oh, he was into some stuff.
And like we talked about a couple weeks ago, remote viewing,
Yeah.
where he was trying to if we can really build these people to where they can know what's going on somewhere else and tell us what's happening, that'll give us that 1,000-year right that they wanted.
Now, I'll be honest. There's a part of you that has to say this is a complete waste of resources. It's completely unrealistic. It's a waste.
Mm-hmm.
But I give props to anybody who says we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
And if there's an idea that we should explore, we need to explore it, or somebody else will.
Yeah.
Now, where do you draw the line? Of course, remote viewing. I think I would draw the line there. But
I mean, they've said, I've heard many times that the government has locations where they have people locked up just testing them.
oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, there's what is that guy's name? I cannot believe this. I'll have to. There's a military. It's one of the best conspiracy stories about aliens. I cannot believe I can't remember his name. But this guy said that there is tunnels underneath America that already connect, across the entire continent, where you could be in there and bullet train across the country in like no time. I can't remember the times he's talking, but he said that there was an alien war down there. He was down there. He was with the Green Berets, and he was with CIA, and he went down, and they didn't know when they were tunneling that these guys were already there. And they got there, and he said there were like 5 aliens that would have been called, a smaller group of aliens, and one huge one. And he said he must have been like 13 feet tall. And he pointed at us, and he goes, and the smell was so bad. He goes, I can't even describe it. Almost put me on my knees. It smelled so bad where they were. And he pointed at me, and his hands, like electricity shot out. And the Green Beret that was there, as my escort, pushed me into the elevator and hit the button, and he said, go, and he died as I got out. I'll have to I'll try to look that up and put it in the comments what the name of this guy is for you to look at the story. Whether you believe it or not, it's one of the most entertaining stories ever.
I remember not too long ago, well, in one of the things I saw on Netflix, but they said I want to say is in some place in West Virginia that they were making a big military base, and they had levels down below. I think it was there. It was either there or Area 51, but that like the first few levels, well underneath everything, was military, and then there's a few levels down that they would, when you say people went missing, that's where they went. and they were given to aliens that had like floors below that. It's like you didn't go down there. You went down there, you were done.
You're done.
Yeah, and they were giving it to them as almost like human sacrifice.
Wow.
It was on one of those things on, man, which one was it? Like Conspiracy Files.
Oh yeah.
Recent release files.
Mm.
Yeah, one of those. And the last one that I had was
Oh, I found his name. Phil Snyder.
Phil Snyder.
Philip Snyder, and it's called Underground Alien Bases.
Mhm.
It's like an hour, 12 minutes. It's worth listening to. It's a fun hour, man. Because this guy, he plays it straight. Whether if he's crazy, then he got enough sanity to make me listen to 1 hour. I listen to the whole thing.
I'm gonna say that this is one of those things I will listen to, but I have a gut feeling Josh won't.
No, I'd listen to that. That
Really?
sounds entertaining.
Really?
It was entertaining, and I've got this page up. There's like 5 different ones. I think it's called the Dolce Underground Bases, and they've got just look at it. It's
Is
fun.
this on YouTube or
Yeah, YouTube.
YouTube. All right.
YouTube.
Message it to me so I can watch that.
Just so you can see what he looks like and what it looks like when it comes up.
All right, Philip Snyder, Underground Alien Bases.
The guy who works with me, Josh Scheckman, I told him about it, and he got into it, and then he went on like his own tangent and started investigating and looking into it, and he came back with stories, and he goes, "Man, did you know?" And I was like, "Dude, we had so much fun. I love working in concrete with that guy."
Yeah. And the last one I had was I remember this from Art Bell. You remember what was it called? Coast to Coast with Art Bell.
Coast to Coast AM.
And I used to love listening to that.
Do you not listen to it anymore?
I didn't even know it was still on.
You can find it. They have George Norrie, Art Bell, and I think they're still doing it.
Because I remember,
You ever watch that or listen to that?
Yeah, this was like it would come on like 2 a.m. or something.
Yeah, me and Jamie used to
Yeah.
always talk about it because
Uh-huh.
remember when he used to clean Gold's Gym?
Yeah.
That's what he would listen to on it, and he told me a couple times it freaked him out because I got to turn that crap off.
Yeah. But did you ever hear about chemtrails?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where they supposedly airplanes and stuff, and they would have
Seating.
Yeah, government would put stuff in there to.
What is the conspiracy? I've always heard it, but I have never really followed.
Do governments really put like biological stuff in these things? So when the chem goes out, the chemicals come out the back like a jet.
Yeah, you see this
You
cloud
see
of
this
pillar.
cloud coming out.
What are they saying is in the?
It can
cloud.
be anything from biological things.
Yeah, like bad or good though.
I mean, like bad, like the Zika virus or something, like AIDS maybe. You know,
Why would they do that?
That's my question. Why would they do that? It's like, what would this do if we put this on somewhere in Africa? What would happen? And that's, they say these things like AIDS and the Zika virus and other viruses and things. What was that virus that was just out like 6 months ago?
It wasn't Zika. I thought that's what we were just talking
No,
about.
it was something else before Zika that came out.
I don't know.
That was in Africa, and we were scared that like one person got it in America.
Ungala.
Yes, Mungala.
Ungala. That's what
But-
Tarzan used to always say to the elephants. Ungala.
So, and they were always saying that they're doing this to poison people,
Wow.
maybe thin the herd.
Population, yeah.
Do you believe in the
No.
theory that they're trying to thin the herd?
No.
I don't either.
Now, you guys, because I remember I heard that, and the next day I was like, "Oh crap!"
No.
They're gonna play. Oh, there's one right there.
You see Daryl covering his mouth,
I like
going,
wearing a mask and stuff.
"Get dog."
It's like they live. Like I'm the only one with the glasses seeing this.
Hey, I'll tell you a conspiracy that I think very few people would think was just baloney. Big pharma. Pharmaceutical companies. I tell you what, there's a part of me that wants to believe they've got the cure for so many of these diseases, but it's like, no, why can't they let them out? Because it's
Money.
big business.
I mean, I remember hearing cancer.
Cancer.
Yeah, cancer. Like they would cure that in a heartbeat if they wanted to.
Yeah.
It's like they've got it cured. They just want to make the money.
Dude, the money that they make. My little niece Cassidy, bless her soul, Lord, is a fighter, and she's going through it right now. And
Yeah, I was going to ask you because I remember last year.
yeah,
she was doing fine, and
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if she had a relapse. I was going to ask you off air.
sure. No. Yeah, she actually had some. She has osteosarcoma, which is a bony, kind of thing that will take and show in the knee first, and then it can metastasize in different places in the body. And they did find after going through chemo and stuff that it had showed up in her lungs.
Oh.
You know, and these 2 little nodules, and they actually went in and manually took them out. And this was just like a few months ago.
Mhm.
And they went in and felt around on her lung with his hand. The guy felt every square inch of her lung and made sure that they found every single thing. Since then, she's part of a trial, and she is doing really good. The
Yes.
trial's really tough on her, though. Like, she gets
Yeah.
sick really bad on it.
So,
Keep her in your prayers,
'cause
everybody.
I saw, you told me about the article in the Lynchburg paper, and I posted that because, I mean, dude, she's such an inspiration to, go through all this and still have that fighting heart, that spirit, and
Oh, yeah.
out there swimming and stuff like that. It's like, dude, I mean, I've had 47 operations. I remember this stuff as a kid, and people
That's
go, "You're an
rough.
inspiration." I'm like, I'm not no inspiration. I'm just doing what I do.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
have a feeling she probably feels like this.
She probably
Yeah.
does.
She's like, this. I'm just doing what I do.
Yeah.
And this is what I've born. This is what I have to do.
She is a fighter,
Yeah.
though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, check this out. I hope this comes out right. I want to say this right. I don't want people to take my words wrong. But one thing about Cassidy, before she ever had cancer, she was one of the strongest athletes as a kid that I'd ever seen. She actually broke her school record in 2nd grade for the fastest mile, and I think pull-ups. And I remember like her competing with boys, a couple years older and smoking them and swimming and stuff. And I mean, just unreal. And I was like, why in the world, Lord, did you make this girl so strong? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
literally, this is somebody that if we had, seen this develop more, I'd be like, you need to get her in with a trainer. She could be an Olympian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's rare air that she breathes.
Yeah.
And then she got struck with this, and I was like, why in the world did she get struck? It's almost, and like I said, I want to be careful. I don't want anyone to take this wrong, but it's almost like God said, hey, I've got this challenge for you. You're going to go through this. You're going to make it, and I'm going to give you the strength. Just keep fighting. Now, Cassidy, if you know her, she can be a live wire. I mean, she can take it. I mean, she'll tell you in a heartbeat, leave her alone. Because these doctors are poking and prodding and all this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And over this last, little bit, she's been really vocal. Like, I said, don't touch me. Get out of my room. I said, stop. Why are you keeping it going? And just like to where it's almost embarrassing for her mom and a little funny too, because it's so rude that they're like, Cassidy, we got to do this. You got to let us do this. And somebody said, man, that's crazy. You going to tell her to stop? And I said, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And they're like, I mean, she can't be crazy. I was like, let me tell you something. The moment you need to worry is when that little girl stops fighting.
Yep.
When she's full of herself with that piss and vinegar, I want to take and spur her on, go keep fighting.
Yeah.
Swing away, Meryl.
There you go.
And it's funny you talk about this because when I'm hearing this, it reminds me so much when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I remember one day, and I feel it's one of these things back. Looking back, I feel bad, but I was in. This is when I used to have to go to Richmond. This is about 3 hours each way, and I remember I had a stuffed teddy bear, and the doctor come in. I blessed him out and threw my teddy bear at him.
Oh, how old are you?
I was at the time. I was probably around 7, 8 years old.
Okay.
And I was like, my mom's like, I don't know where you learned that from.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you do, Mom. Yeah, you do. But
But those doctors, a lot of them, they're saints.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
God bless
I
them.
mean, I've always said this, and doctors, I love you guys. The nurses, they do so much.
That's what
Yes, they
Cassidy.
do.
Cassidy
Yeah.
wants to be a nurse because
Yeah,
of it.
I mean,
she said that too.
Those, I've always said this. I mean, not always, but since I've really learned so much about this, those are heroes. They're in there. The doctors come in, they diagnose this stuff. They're heroes too. But the nurses and stuff, they're the ones doing so much of that grunt work.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
amazing what they do.
Dude,
It
let me
really
tell you.
is. And, they get so little credit for what they do.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It
But
really is.
It's not right by any stretch of the imagination, but what makes them so great, I bet you a bunch of them, they don't care.
Mhm.
They don't care that they don't get the credit because their heart is
Yeah.
truly about helping, not
Yeah.
reward.
Right.
Now, I've had some bad nurses, but the vast majority of them, they're there. And
I tell you what.
They're right there for you.
And that's something that when it happens,
Mhm.
you talk about wanting to get ugly
Mm-hmm.
because you're such a vulnerable painful time where you're depending, and when somebody's not good at their job, like a
Yeah.
bad nurse,
Yep.
it's like, I think I could throw this bedpan and knock her out.
Yeah.
I think I can take her out. I'm gonna take that frisbee out of the storm drain, and the basketball that's right next to it because it fit. I want to knock this chick out. No, but yeah, she's doing great.
Yeah.
She's doing great. So big pharma, though, yeah, I think there's a lot of diseases that are huge conspiracy where I think they could cure them.
I think so too.
You know, I just thought of one more.
All right, what you got? Last one?
Yeah, last one. I just watched ESPN. They 30 for 30s. If you guys, I'm sure you guys. Never
We
watched
cannot
this
finish on a sports one. We will not be able to take and add anything to this.
Was OJ alone?
Oh no, that's a good one. Shut my mouth.
They just had a 5-part series about race relations and there and how all this stuff affected the OJ trial and all this stuff. Absolutely amazing. Now they also show what happened, what he did. It's like, I don't know how one person did this. I mean, they explained.
Oh, I
it.
see what you're saying. Like he had to have help.
Yeah, I mean, I believe he did it, and I know some people swear up now he had nothing to do with it. And I think he did it, but I think he might have had help doing it.
Wow. I'd like to see the evidence in this show,
Mhm.
but I will take the lesson of JFK and jealously guard my opinion until I saw some kind of refuting logic kind of put in place.
Well, basically,
That's a great story, though.
The defense was, no one really said, no, he ain't do it. Most of the defense was, Mark Furman's a racist, he planted a glove. That was really the biggest part of the defense. Now, there was blood that was really, really badly handled in this.
Oh, yeah.
On the
Which is crazy when it's so big.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. When it first started, they didn't know how big this thing really was.
Dude, what you would have to think, because I remember being in Applebee's in college and watching the white Bronco.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
it says most of this evidence was collected way before the Bronco.
Well, you mean like hours, right? Because it was the
Yeah.
same day.
No, the Bronco was not that day.
What was it next day then?
No, it was a few days later.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because they didn't know it was him.
Yeah.
You're right,
Because
right,
they
right.
could get this
Isn't that funny?
evidence.
Because that's an assumption. It's like,
Yeah.
what was OJ? They didn't know. No,
He's on
nobody
the
knew.
road.
Yeah. I mean, they went to his house because they knew that this was his wife.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why they originally went to his house, and they found blood. They're like, we need to get in there and find out what's going on. Or did they plant that blood and
Right,
get
right.
in there?
Did you, the one you saw, was that the one with Cuba Gooding
No.
that just came
No,
out?
I watched that too. That wasn't very good.
No, it didn't look good to
Yeah.
me.
But some of the stuff that was in that blows my mind. That really, truly did happen.
The good one you're talking about. Yeah.
I mean, no, but as part of that was in that, because one of the scenes I was like, there's no way that could have possibly have happened. When they took the jury to OJ's house, they went to the crime scene first and then to OJ's house. Why do they need to go to OJ's house other than to see where the glove was? That's it. They toured OJ's house. The defense went in there, changed the house, because they said there's just a bunch of pictures with OJ and a bunch of white people. They turned that into OJ's house and all of his friends, all these black friends. And one of the guys said, I bet you some of these people, OJ has no clue who they even are.
Wow.
I was like, what? They did that? Because when I saw the one with Cuba Gooding, I was like, that didn't happen. No, that did happen.
Wow.
Like, are you serious?
I'm telling you, the older I get, the more I see people are capable of way more in any regard, on good, on bad. Good people doing bad for the right reason, bad people doing bad for the wrong reason, you know, all of it.
Yeah.
Nothing surprises me anymore.
And they said some of the things that I remember from the trial, because I was sick at the time, so I was at home almost through the entire trial. But one of the things that still baffles me is, like, if he did it by himself, why was there blood on a fence, like the gate where he was supposedly leaving, that when they originally did the crime scene, that blood was not there. Like 2-3 weeks later, when they went back to collect this, was there. There's photos, no blood there. Later on, blood there. Like, that's
Somebody framing somebody.
yeah. And one of the things that they were saying is, like, sometimes you know who really did it, but we gotta do a little extra to prove it.
Right.
I'm like, really? That's insane.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
All right, hey, one last one.
Mm-hmm.
Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark, great story.
You know, they just built one.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah, I did.
Was it
Yeah.
in Canada or
Man,
Iceland somewhere? I remember.
Yeah, I
it
think
was
it's like in Iceland or
yeah,
something like that. And the guy's taking it on tour now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, the Bible says that Noah's flood, his boat came to rest on Mount Ararat,
Yeah.
which is now in present-day Turkey, and there are some anomalies on some like satellite footage of a structure that it could be,
Yep.
you know, on Mount Ararat.
Mhm.
But the government won't let
Yeah.
anybody up.
Won't let anyone near that spot.
And it's like, why? And some of them are like, because some people could come in under the guise of looking for the ark and be spies, which doesn't hold any water. It's like, really? What do you have on the mountain that we can take and get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that they do think that it is the ark and they want to debunk the Christian faith, you know, the Bible, if they're, you know, supporters of the Quran or Allah, whatever. So what do you think about that?
Dude, I mean, as a Christian, I believe this happened, but I'm also like, where is this ark at?
I think that it's up there where they're saying it's at, because there's like this little blip of stuff, but you know, I believe that it is there.
What about the Ten Commandments? Because they also say where they believe it was. There's also military that won't let people go up there too.
Well, the Ten Commandments, a bowl of manna, and was it Aaron's staff or Moses' staff? Is the items that are in the Ark of the Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever the Ark is supposed to be where the original Ten Commandments were.
And they say on this one mountain, there actually is trees that actually do burn. It's something like where it's like a volcano, and underneath it, like it's where it's got like calcified or on the trees, and these trees will actually just sit there and burn.
Wow. So like the burning bush.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that show, The Bible? I think it was on the History
like a
Channel.
miniseries.
I think
Yeah,
so.
the
It's on,
miniseries?
I want to say it's on Netflix now.
Let me tell you something. Watch some of that. Some of it was not that great. When Jesus was tempted, the devil it looked like Obama. 100% it did.
Gosh.
And I was like, why would you do that?
Mhm.
Why would you bring that to this?
Right.
You know?
Well, I've heard many people say that he is the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, why would
he
you-
really, really is.
Oh, yeah. Another conspiracy.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would put that on Donald Trump.
Yeah. Trump squatch.
Yeah.
Half Bigfoot, half Trump.
Well, that would explain the hair.
That's it. Whoa! His good friend Wild Boy.
My boy. Yes.
That's my shout out to the 70s craft macaroni and cheese now.
Yum.
Croft superstars,
Mhm.
Bigfoot and Wild Boy.
Bigfoot and Wild
We got to
Boy.
talk about that one
Yeah.
night.
And those two trees.
Oh, but that series, some of that stuff was really good. Jesus walking on water, that was amazing. David and Goliath, the burning bush was really neat. Because I mean, it looked like this huge. It wasn't a bush like you think of a shrub. They had this huge tree, just like, and it wasn't just on fire. It was like all these neat colors that were in there, like it was burning with some sort of like a spiritual flame. It was wild. Good stuff, man. Good stuff to watch out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The biggest thing I think we learned from conspiracy theories tonight is don't discount anybody's ability to do anything backhanded, dirty, or for their own agenda, but not everything, you know, is against you.
Right, exactly.
You know, that's my take on conspiracies. Half of these probably are just, you know, I hate to say it, just like, no.
Yeah. I got a buddy on Facebook. He's a big conspiracy theorist, and he's just constantly posting this and that and this and that. And I just keep him on there just to read them because they're.
Yeah.
I think they're funny. It's
Yeah.
like, what do you got now? What's next?
That one like on YouTube, Phil Snyder, watch it. Whether you believe it or not, it's one of the most entertaining hours you'll ever have.
Yeah.
It's fun. His story is just like, wow, that's really... Remember Terminator when he goes, I can make a career off this guy's story, this girl's
Yeah.
story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so well fabricated. So is Phil
That
Snyder's.
was in
Terminator
2.
1.
Was it 1?
Yeah.
I think it was in 2.
As soon as
He
he
the
went...
same guy was in 2
the
and
same
3.
guy.
Yeah.
Which I love they did that.
Yeah.
That's probably the best part of the later films.
Yeah.
His little thing, like, oh my God, they're back.
Well,
Skynet.
what was it in Ghostbusters? We're here to believe you. Or
Oh yeah,
how
we're
did-
here to believe you.
Yeah. And that little commercial they did.
Yeah, yeah. That was
Mhm.
awesome. All right, cool. Anything else?
That's it. Next
What do-
week.
Yeah, what do you got?
Next week, The Killing Joke. we're gonna go see that on the big screen. I am so excited.
And a couple of movies too. I like to talk about. I wanted to talk about Willow Creek, but we ran out of time. So maybe we'll push the Bigfoot Bobcat Goldthwait movie in
Yes,
there.
I still want to see this.
You got to see it. You need to see it. It's fun.
Okay.
It's fun.
And comic book corner next week.
Any homework I should be reading? What are we going to be reading?
Whatever you want to read for comic book corner.
Let me ask you before we go. Rebirth. Are you following anything specifically that you're really digging from the Rebirth line?
I'm loving some Batman.
I'm liking Batman too.
Rebirth Batman.
That's the only one I kept going on. I let all the other ones go, but I'm
I
keeping.
mean, I
up with
haven't.
Batman.
I need to get on Flash because I hear Flash is really good, and Superman here that's really good.
Okay, cool. That's what I wanted to know. Superman, Flash, and Batman. All good.
Mhm. I mean,
What about Aquaman?
people said that's all right.
That the new 52 Aquaman was really good. Jeff Johns and those guys, they just nailed it. I was hoping
I wanna
for
say-
lightning again, but that's tough.
I was talking to one of the guys today, and he said Green Arrow is really good. And on issue 3, they started with a new artist, and they said the artwork in it is really, really good. I bought it today, haven't had a chance to look at it.
Gotcha. What about Claws? Have you kept reading?
I
that?
have not gotten any more now because what I've been doing the last few weeks, I think I told you guys I downloaded The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
The first 100 issues. So I'm on around 15. It's so fun because I love the series to see the little things that they're changing in it. I
Oh
love
man,
that.
would you give that a big thumbs up for the comic?
I'm loving it.
I might go
I mean,
back.
I
That
love
might be
It's-
fun to watch
it's-
it that way.
It's black and white.
Yeah.
So, 'cause-
I read the first issue and I was like, the show is so good, and this is
Yeah.
just so like skimming the surface. You'd think it'd be the other way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's scenes in it you're like, wait, that's not in the book.
Yeah.
It's a lot of scenes like that.
Oh man.
So I mean, I'm enjoying it myself
All right.
because
I think I've got the first 100 issues.
hey, he went episodes like I normally do.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
So,
They're episodic.
episodic awesomeness.
Cool. Great podcast, man. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
Yeah, it was a little longer than we anticipated, but hey,
How long did we go?
we're up to about 136.
Wow.
We are on.
Yeah, we're in fuego.
The
Literally
thing is-
in here in fuego.
And the
no
thing
doubt.
is, there's so many more we could cover too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is part 1 of an ongoing series.
Yeah, we might revisit.
Next week is Phil Snyder.
we
Yeah.
might revisit some of these and come back to them. But anyway,
All right, go.
that's all I got. You guys have an incredible day.
Simply incredible.
See ya.